Hello, Pokemon trainers, and welcome to the King's Court. Okay, so wow, it's crazy to think we're already at par 41, and also really quick, and might as well get this out of the way. I've been watching Pokemon Worlds. I've been watching them when I can. I've been busy this whole week. Also, really quick, okay, let me get the intro out of the way. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Um, Basically, if you're new to the series and this is your first time clicking on one of our videos, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. This is what I like to call the Path to Power series, basically where I try to climb the online Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC ladder, and overall, during the week, because I always upload these Saturday, I try to collect as many battles as possible. And I basically save the ones that I think are the most entertaining, but this whole week I've been busy. I've been swamped with a lot of stuff to take care of. IRL personal stuff. Nothing too crazy, but I haven't had time to really like sit down and play because I usually play like during my free time or at night, that sort of thing when I can. But unfortunately, I couldn't this week, so I had to go with some backup battles I actually had saved that I thought were good, but I thought I'd save them for like a rainy day, which even though it's not raining outside, it's discounts. So that's pretty much everything. Also, I've been watching Pokemon Worlds. I have when I've been able to. Man, it's been nuts. So let me know in the comments. Pretty much, if you have any suggested teams. Pretty much these last few months, I've been using my favorite Pokemon of all time, Giratina, to try to climb the online ladder because I just feel like it. I don't really have a good reason. I just want to. So that's pretty much it. So right now I have Giratina. I just switched down to Rillaboom. My opponent is using, I believe, that single strike Urshifu, and it's obviously that's Whimsicott. Yeah, it's single strike. So I gotta be careful because that thing's dark, and obviously dark beats ghost, and that thing can easily one hit Giratina if I'm not careful. So my opponent's Whimsicott will go up with Dazzling Gleam. And unfortunately, my Will-O-Wisp did miss this time. But yeah, I usually try to save what I think are like the best and like most entertaining battles because that way I can give my thought process on the moves I made and what I would do differently in order to improve my own skills as well. But oh man, like I said, I've been busy all week. I had to get like a couple of battles and I had to use a few in this video because I usually do like 3 battles a week. I upload 3 battles a week, but I was swamped a lot of stuff, so I had to use a couple that I had like backup reserved. Yeah, so hey, it happens, right? So, anyways, yeah, my Rillaboom just knocked out my opponent's Urshifu, even though it wasn't, it was single strike, so it wasn't, water. It still did a good amount of damage. My opponent's gonna have Ogerpon plus Whimsicott. I gotta be careful with this because Ogerpon is still a really good mon. The Whimsicott, though, I really need to knock out soon because I think this is gonna keep using like Dazzling Gleam if I'm not careful. And I already set up Tailwind, and I think they usually run like Stun Spore or something. I gotta be careful. I do not want to deal with that. So I'm just gonna go back out to my Incineroar. Okay, Intimidate will go off. Doesn't really do much to the. It's not really gonna do anything to the Whimsicott, but it will affect the Ogerpon, which is good for me. And that, thank goodness, Incineroar actually lived that hit. Although if I didn't Terastallize, it would have done even less. Hey, what can you do? So Will-O-Wisp will go off, and luckily the burn will break because most likely it's running Focus Sash. So luckily it will take care of that. And Giratina's going to get a bunch of HP back thanks to the grassy terrain plus leftovers. Yeah, this is the more bulky defensive style Giratina because usually you either run this kind or you run the Origin form, which I was using for a while, but I like to go back and forth. I kind of like to switch between the two. So I'm gonna try to use Pain Slip. Doesn't really do anything. And my Cineroar's Flare Blitz will go off, even though it's not stab anymore. Thanks to his high base power and Whimsicott really not being able to take a hit, that took care of that one. And Giratina will gain more HP back. And so will my Incineroar. Alright, sweet. And the grassy terrain is gone, but I still have my Rillaboom, so I can set it up again if I have to. And they got a Koraidon. I gotta be careful with this one. Let's see. So I could just switch out and go into Rillaboom to try to set up. I mean, I don't have like a rain like a like Kyogre or something, which wouldn't be actually a bad idea to start running. That way I could get rid of the sun because there has been like a lot of teams cried on lately. Let's see. So they're gonna go and follow me. So that way their Koraidon's flare blitz can go off. That's fine because I want to get rid of the Rillaboom. I mean, not Rillaboom. The I can't talk today. The Ogerpon. I want to focus on that basically because the Koraidon will keep using flare blitz to knock out my Pokemon, and that's okay due to the fact that the more they do it, the more damage they'll take. And I can just have my Pokemon come in for the cleanup. So Incineroar will go off, and luckily that will lower the Koraidon's attack, which is good for me as well. Something I could just go for like a fake out and try. I could either burn it, or I could go for a pain split. So I just decided to fake out and go with a pain split. And the Ogerpon used to follow me, but okay. Pain split will go off. Doesn't really do much, but hey, it's something. Hey, a little HP can go a long way. And I nearly have Giratina back to full HP, actually. Sweet. And Soror will also gain some, and the Tailwind is gone, so since the Whimsicott is also knocked out, I don't have to worry about that again. So I can just try to focus on knocking out the Ogerpon and the Koraidon. I'm just trying to think, should I either switch out my Giratina or leave it in? I decided to go with Protect. So Giratina, oh yeah, will Protect, and they're gonna use Follow Me. And I'm gonna go, and they're gonna go with the Flare Blitz. Again, will knock out, but that's fine because they're gonna take a lot of damage, not only from their own Flare Blitz, but from their Life Orb as well. But then again, unfortunately, the grassy terrain does make that kind of counterintuitive, but at least my Urshifu can come in and start doing some damage. I'm thinking if I just get close combat off, I pretty much got this. And with the Tailwind gone, I was thinking my Urshifu should be faster. So I'm just going to go for a double hit. Close combat plus Hex should definitely take care of it. And they're going to protect. I'm like, alright, sweet. I pretty much read that one right there. And thanks to, man, Urshifu was so damn good. The close combat's going to be able to go through the protect. And that's good for me. And Whimsicott's going to try to use close combat. I mean, that one's got Ogerpon. And the Hex will go off. And obviously my Urshifu was faster now. And it looks like communication was lost. Now, usually I don't show these kind of ones because either like my opponent, I try to give my opponent the benefit of the doubt. I'm pretty sure maybe they just lost connection, or it's possible they could have raged and just turned it all off. So I usually don't show this part. I cut this the in betweens, but right here I got the points. So I wanted to show that that wasn't on my end. My Wi-Fi was working just fine. So just wanted to show that. So I'm gonna count that. Screw it. Why not? And my opponent's gonna start off next with shoot. Got it. I like this Pokemon too. I'm just blank on names lately. Okay, the Commander ability will go off. And now they're gonna gain a bunch of stats, honestly. Pretty much everything but HP, so I gotta be careful how I do this. So I'm thinking I could just terrestrialize because they usually run like a dragon move. I forgot what it was called, or they could be running like I don't know some kind of like random like they could try to use like not bulldoze, stomping tantrum. I think I forgot. I've used this Pokemon before too. I like this one. I forgot what it runs, but I'm just gonna terrestrialize my raging bolt right now. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go with the Thunderbolt, and their very will help them survive that. But I got the paralysis, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, bulldoze. Yeah, that was right. So even though Incineroar did lower its attack, I don't want to take the chance. So good thing I terrestrialized. So Tatsugiri, I think, and God, I always forget the big one's name. So I'm gonna go with Fake Out, and I'm just gonna go for another Thunderbolt because I want to knock this thing out quickly. All right, sweet. So now they have their Tatsugiri still, and two more Pokemon. So one down, three to go. see. Okay, I completely forgot this Pokemon's name, but I think it's like Flying Psychic or something. I forgot its name. I'm just gonna go for the Draco Meteor to knock out the Togskiri because I want to get rid of that thing now. Although without the other one, it's all right. Obviously, they're a lot better together. So they're gonna terrestrialize. I think they terrestrialize into steel if I remember right. Yeah, it was steel. Okay, cool. I do remember this battle. And they're gonna hit me with hypnosis. I'm amazed that hit. Every time I've tried hypnosis, I swear it never hits. Same with sleep powder. And the Draco Meteor was gonna go off, which will pretty much KO it. Okay, that takes care of two actually. If only my Incineroar could just wake up. And their last Pokemon is gonna be a Gardevoir. Okay, fairies versus dragons. All right, because Raging Bull. Although it's a fairy right now. Let's see. So I'm just gonna go for the Flare Blitz in the hopes that Incineroar wakes up. But I'm gonna withdraw Raging Bolt because I want to take the chance of losing it. Just yeah. Plus, with the Draco Meteor, I already used that, so their special attack's already down. Oh no, I don't do that yet. Right, I protect as well. And luminous crash, I think that was called. And Incineroar actually miraculously does wake up, and good thing I picked Flare Blitz, so that actually knocks out their Pokemon one hit. Sweet. I cannot, though, for the life of me, remember what that thing is called, though. But unfortunately, Incineroar is going to take a massive hit, but thank goodness I'm still running the Citrus Berry. So I could pretty much just go for like a Thundercloud since they're already protected, so they got to do something, and the battle's canceled. Yeah, makes sense. Gardevoir really can't take a hit, so that took care of that one. All right, game two. I like the little fireworks in the background on ranked matches. I think it's because, like I said, I think because Worlds is going on. Which, by the way, has anyone watching this seen any of the matches from there? I saw like a couple. Man, it's been pretty nuts actually. So I'm thinking I could just go for like a Will-O-Wisp on the Grimmsnarl. Okay, and I could try going for go for a Will-O-Wisp, and because I got to be careful because if you saw last week's upload, the freaking Ting-Lu, I think that's what it's called, the big moose-looking thing, actually knocked out my Giratina with a freaking Fisher, which not only am I amazed my opponent was running that, but the fact that it actually hit, because everyone knows one-hit KO moves are like what 30-20% accuracy. So I want to be careful because I don't want to take the chance of that happening again. So I'm just gonna I had Giratina burn the Grimmsnarl, and now I'm just thinking, okay, I could probably protect and maybe just have Incineroar try to like knock off, but instead I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna withdraw Incineroar and go into Rillaboom. Okay, Grassy Surge will go off, and they're gonna use Reflect. Makes sense. And I'm gonna try to burn it too. It may not be like a super strong hitter, but at least it is a physical hitter. So at least it'll do half damage. And the Fisher goes off but misses. Thank goodness. I do not want to deal with that again. That was so crazy last week when that happened. So they're both burnt, so Hex will do double damage on both of them. But unfortunately, if I remember right, Grimmsnarl is Dark Fairy. And if I remember right, Ting-Lu, God, I hope I'm getting that name right, is Ground and Dark. So Ghost isn't going to do that much. So I'm just going to protect instead. And the light screen gets set up. I'm just going to go over a Wood Hammer. But because the light screen reflects are set up, it doesn't do as much damage. And thank goodness I protected on Giratina. I don't know if that Fisher would have hit, but I'm not taking that chance. So they also are running leftovers, so thanks to the Grassy Terrain, they're going to get a lot of HP back, but the burn will pretty much like balance it out. And the Wood Hammer almost did knock out, so one more hit should knock it out, but if it doesn't, the burn will. So I'm just going to play it safe and withdraw Giratina and just go back out into Incineroar. Even though they're not really like hard hitters this way, their physical attack will do pretty much nothing, so it doesn't matter if they hit first. But it doesn't even matter because Rillaboom managed to knock it out with the Wood Hammer. I'm gonna go with Dazzling Gleam. I wasn't expecting that. Grimmsnarls are usually physical attackers. Like, besides obviously like Reflect and Barrier, they usually run like Fake Out or T Wave. Some of them run like Play Rough or something like that. And my opponent's gonna send out a Giratina. Okay, this is where things got interesting. It's the Origin form too. Okay, so luckily, if you're familiar with the channel, I know a thing or two about Giratina, so I had an idea how to play around this. So I'm thinking I could just go for a Woodhammer and try to just do some big damage. My opponent withdraws their Grimmsnarl, and they're going to go out into Groudon. And as soon as I saw that, I had the biggest smile on my face, the fact that I went for Woodhammer. And they're going to go with Dragon Claw, so it's a physical attacking Giratina. Almost knocked out, but unfortunately my Rillaboom is going to die due to recoil. Hey, what can you do, right? But that did such a massive chunk to the Groudon that it almost is alright that I lost Rillaboom. Would have preferred to, if it survived, though. So I'm thinking I could just either go for a knockoff on the Giratina or the Groudon, but I figure the Groudon could be more important to deal with. Because if we have to go Giratina versus Giratina, mine will, since is obviously more of a bulky version, should survive more hits than my opponent's. And since they terrestrialize here, I don't gotta worry about the Giratina terrestrializing, so Ghost will hit Ghost, basically. And they tried to hit me with the Will-O-Wisp. Gotta love Detect. And now they're gonna go with Shadow Force. And I'm gonna go with the knockoff. And it got rid of the Clear Amulet. Let's see. Okay, and the grassy terrain is gone. So, and Rillaboom also got knocked out, so that means no more terrain. And that's okay because I don't want my opponent's Pokemon to gain anymore because Groudon and Giratina obviously can take a hit. So I'm thinking I could just go for like the Surging Strike and just try to knock it out basically. But they're going to withdraw their Groudon and they're going to go out into their Grimmsnarl. And unfortunately, since the sun is out, it won't do as much damage, sadly. And Shadow Force will go off, and it doesn't knock out Urshifu. Alright, cool. And Knockoff will go off and get rid of... Well, unfortunately, you can't get rid of the Glycerin Storm, because it's obvious what Giratina was running, because, Origin Form. So you can't really knock off the Orb. But, hey, it did some pretty good damage. So basically, I just gotta try to survive until the Reflect and Barriers wear off. So I'm thinking... In the meantime, I'm thinking it probably is more important to focus on the Grimmsnarl. That way, I can try to knock out. Okay, the Shadow Sneak did nothing sweet. It's probably more important to focus on the Grimmsnarl. That way, I don't have to worry about Barrier or Reflect after they wear off. Dazzling Gleam. Sadly, that will clean up my Urshifu. But that's fine because now it's basically, I'm going to go for the Parting Shot and the Giratina. Now, this I'm cool with. Because now I can just send out my Giratina. And because I Parting Shots on their Giratina, it pretty much won't do any damage at all to mine. And the burn knocks out the Rillaboom. Grimmsnarl. Rillaboom. I'm all tongue-tied today. So I got my fully HP Giratina and an Incineroar. And they're going to send back out their Groudon. And luckily Incineroar will get one more Intimidate. And since I already know that their Giratina is a physical attacker, pretty much both of them have been, crippled, weakened a little bit. So we're going to go for Protect, and I was going to go Fake Out, and unfortunately now I won't be able to, but that's okay, because I want him, and now they're going to go with Shadow Force. And Hex, as a result, didn't hit. Sunlight's gone, and the Reflect is also gone, so that's good for me. So I'm thinking I could just go for the knockoff, try to knock out the Giratina. So I'm just going to go with Protect. Although, and this is where I made a small mistake. Yeah. It's been so long because most people don't really run Shadow Force, but Shadow Force actually goes to Protect. I actually forgot about that. So it would have been better just to go for a Hex to try to hit the Groudon, so I could have knocked it out. Well, I don't think it would have knocked out, but it would have definitely run it close to being knocked out here. I'm gonna go with Shadow Force again. Okay, that's fine. They missed, but the knockoff will go off. And I pretty much, right here, I pretty much got it because if you saw, their Shadow Force really didn't do much to my Giratina. So mine could definitely live one or two more. So I could just time this perfectly. I'll just go for another Hex and go for knockoff. So I'm going to go Shadow Force, doesn't knock out. And Giratina will go with its Hex. And now my Incineroar will go with knockoff. Almost knocks out. And Giratina will gain some HP back thanks to the leftovers. I'm just going to go for Hex one more time. I was expecting Shadow Force again. But if I remember right, they go for Dragon Claw. I guess they wanted to knock out my Giratina quickly. And it doesn't. Mine's still standing tall. And Hex goes off. Alright, sweet. It kind of hurts knocking out a Giratina, but hey, mine's still standing tall. So, alright, got that one. GG to my opponent. So, yeah, that was a crazy game. Was not expecting a Giratina mirror match, honestly. But either way, if you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you want to see any more videos, and shoot, like I've said before, if you got any recommendations for any teams you want to see me try, I think I'm going to try out a new team. Because I want to try out like some different Pokemon. I'm still going to use Giratina as like the core, but I want to try some other Pokemon out too. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. And that's pretty much everything. So thank you so much. Like I said, if you made it this far, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great week. Take care. Bye.